So to get started with this very simple 3-part emerger, you can use a light wire scud hook. This is a Tiemco 2487 light scud. You can use any standard dry fly. This is a size 18. You could definitely go a little bit larger, you can go smaller. We're gonna be using, for this Bwo Emerger, we're gonna be using a 12-aught diameter tie-in thread. You can go a little bit smaller, to even to a 14-aught. People like myself who may make excessive wraps, creating kind of unwanted bulk, smaller diameter threads are good. So we're just going to attach the thread right here and just kind of work our way down, about a third of the way down the hook shank. Break that off. For the tail, or in this case a shuck, we're going to use a Darlon. It can be any material. I've had this for years. You can tell there's all kinds of fuzz from other materials on there. We're just going to take a little piece of this off. So just kind of thin this out. And what you'll find, for this size fly, this might be a little too thick. So what I might do here is just make a little snip, kind of maybe take a third of this off and use this for a ladder pattern. Not bad. Kind of moisten that, kind of bind the materials together. We're just going to snip. And we're going to have our little tie-in point right here. Make a loop. Pinch. Now capture the whole thing. One loop. There we are. Capture. And secure this. And go, I said, about a third of the way down the hook shank approximately. Now, if you want to make this nice and pretty, we can just take the scissors here and just try to trim this. This is going to be the shuck. This is going to imitate the winged adult breaking free from its nymphal shuck. We're going to take this and maybe go, if you kind of measure the length of the shank, basically from where we tie into the eye, maybe go a little bit longer. Just cut that off. There's our shuck. Okay, we're going to try to clean this up a little bit. For the body, what we're going to tie in is our dubbing. You can do quills, you can do dubbing. And the dubbing I like to use is this Trout Hunter. It's a CDC dubbing. Not as easy to use as traditional dubbings because it has a little bit of bulk. And so you just need to make sure when you grab onto this, you just kind of have to really, sometimes if you get a piece that's a little excessively long, you may have to break it with your fingernails and just kind of tone that down a bit. But this stuff is just great. It just looks buggier. And when you look at like an emerger, it's kind of like a birth of it basically is kind of a birth of the dry fly. It just is, there's just stuff hanging from this insect that's not always super clean. So a lot of times with my emergers, I am trying to go for this kind of this buggier look. We're just going to tie in some of this right here. Wrap that down. Okay, we get our dubbing. Stuff just takes sometimes a little more work. We're going to wind this now around the hook shank. We may have to use a little bit more, but just kind of space this out. We're going to give yourself maybe about an eye and a half length. That's actually worked out pretty good. Tie that in right there. Good. Again, just kind of, it's buggy. It is really, really buggy, which is kind of what I like. Again, like this Trout Hunter, a lot of the products that they make are just excellent. And I get the 3.5 grams of this stuff, so it's like $17.50 currently. But you can basically get a lifetime supply of this stuff. We're going to pull out 2 feathers. We're going to just line up the tips, these 2 feathers together. Now, and we are going to kind of just get the tips in alignment. And then we're going to have the kind of the soft wavy tips. We're going to angle this slightly over the top. We're going to tie this in right here, right at the eye, right behind the eye. Do our pinch, we secure this. Now what I'm going to do here is I'm going to fold this back and just kind of do what we refer to as somewhat of a bullet head. Kind of tie this in right here and go over top. I have my blinking spaniel scratching the window right now because it sees some squirrels. and just secure this. A couple wraps. Now if you want to fold this back further, you can. We're gonna take this and kind of just trim this nice and flush. Now this wing might be a little too high, so what we're gonna do here, we're gonna first do our whip finish, make sure that is secure. If you wanna add additional dubbing to create a little bulkier thorax, you can do so. I don't find that to be necessary. It may look a little more appealing to you, but I'm not really concerned about that. This just gets the job done. Do a couple half hitches or whip finishes right here. We're gonna secure this. Gonna fold this back. Now we can just kind of grab this and just kind of cut this at an angle if you want. Just trim that. And there you have it. And the idea with this pattern is that when it's sitting, the shuck may stay suspended slightly in the water column. You've got this really nice CDC dubbing. This is basically looking like this nymph is giving birth to a winged adult, which is what we're trying to imitate. And then you've got this really nice puff of CDC on the surface, imitating that winged adult. I know the blue wing olives have a darker wing. This is a light dun, but trying to fish with dark dun on the water, it's just difficult to see in most situations. So I go with a lighter dun. I don't think it makes much of a difference, but I do know from my standpoint, it's so much easier to see. And that is it, a very simple CDC emerger. I hope it helps, and I hope you're having a great season. Take care.